Welcome to Podcast with Nanz. On today's episode, we'll be interviewing Pravika Nankishore from Pravika's Kathak Kendra. Hey Pravika, how are you doing?
Hi Nandini, I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Welcome to my podcast.
I'm totally honored to be a part of this.
And thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
Tell me, so you're a Kathak choreographer, a Kathak dancer and a choreographer. What does Kathak mean to you?
Kathak for me is my life.
Okay.
I walk Kathak, I eat Kathak, I move Kathak. I've been dancing since the age of 5 and studied under the world's best Kathak dancers, I could say very proudly and humbly. I studied all three gharanas, Jaipur, Lucknow and Banaras.
Okay.
And studied in India and brought it back to South Africa to spread my love for Kathak to the rest of South Africa. So I've been teaching since the 80s and graduating students since then because Kathak is my life. And this I have my mom to thank for because she loved it, instilled it in me, and boom, boom, boom.
And was she a Kathak dancer as well?
Well, she did learn Kathak. In those days, it was very difficult because South Africans were not exposed to Kathak as much as they were exposed to Bharatanatyam.
Yeah.
So, being a Durban girl and from the south coast of KZN, my mum struggled to, get in touch with the teachers who would, claim to be teaching Kathak, and it's not the pure form. So what teachers used to do is mix Kathak with with Bollywood and call it Kathak.
Yeah.
So it was difficult to get the pure stuff. And then Anna Patan came to South Africa in, I think it was the early 90s.
Okay.
And when that happened, early 80s, my mistake.
Sure.
And she came with Kumari Ambige. And I remember I was learning I was learning Kathak with Kumari Ambige at that point.
Okay.
And she brought Anna Patan from Mauritius to South Africa, and it was the first Kathak performance I saw. And at the age of 12, Mom pushed me onto an aeroplane and sent me to Mauritius at the age of 12 to learn Kathak for 6 months. I danced 15 hours a day and cried every single day. Went a kid, came back an adult. And that's how my first journey in Kathak started.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps. 12 years old?
12, yes. It was 88.
Such a long time ago,
Yes.
and your mum was a very brave mum.
She was, yes.
Oh my goodness.
She was, but,
And
I know Indian parents are very conservative in that sense, but
very conservative,
Yes.
and
I
to
think it
let
was
a
of
young
her
girl, it's alone on a
I
plane.
was so scared. And it
Yeah.
was my first plane trip ever, of course.
Yeah.
And
And
it
so
was an
many things could have
international
gone wrong, but
nothing
thankfully.
did.
Yeah, thankfully.
Nothing did. It was quite an experience. But as I said, I went a kid. And after that, I was not a kid. I was a 12-year-old adult.
Adult, yeah, I can
Came
imagine.
back an adult, yeah. I remember I was in standard 5. Yeah.
And so how did schooling work? Because, I mean, if you were in Mauritius for that period of 6 months, what happened to your academic schooling career?
I had to multitask even before I knew what the word multitask was. My dad's a teacher, or was a teacher.
Okay.
And it didn't help much because he was an accounting teacher and I was going into standard 6 them days, grade 8 or what is it?
Yeah, grade 8.
So when I came back, school had already started. I'd missed the first term and I just went on and, with the help of the teachers, did what I wanted to and still took awards at the end of the year, mind you, all the way up to metric.
Wow. That's amazing. So you leave home at the age of 12. I left home at the age of 18 and I thought, wow, that was a big deal. But 12, I mean, that's a baby. And you come back and you've done Kathak now for a while. What next? What happens next?
So, everyone thinks that when you graduate, that's the end of your journey.
Yeah.
It was only the beginning for me. I always, wanted to learn more and become better at what I do. And I know that I could only do that with practice. So while I was here at home, my mom had a very strict routine. I was up at 4 before I, had to get ready and go to school, practice for an hour. My brothers would take turns watching me in the garage to make sure that I did it correctly.
Wow.
So many hours of sweat, hard work, tears, and it didn't happen overnight. It took many years of practice.
Yeah.
And then at the age of 14, I went back to India. I went to India and studied with Dr. Roshan Kumari. I went back to India after a couple of years. Every year I would go.
So in Mauritius, what
I did
form of-
Lucknow.
Oh, did you do
I did
Lucknow?
Lucknow. Anna Patan is a graduate of the late Birju Maharaj, Pandit Birju Maharaj.
Yes.
So it was Lucknow. So she was Lashya completely, soft and beautiful and graceful.
Graceful.
That was the first style I learned.
Okay.
I
And then,
didn't take to Lucknow Gharana because of its history.
Okay.
But I was more interested in Banaras and in Jaipur. So I went to Dr. Roshan Kumari and I learned Jaipur
And
with her.
what's the difference then between between the three forms of Kathak?
Gharanas. So, as I said, Lashya is Lucknow.
Yeah.
Lucknow, you must know the histories. It was used as a court dance.
Yes.
So, it was for sense gratification and pleasure.
Yeah.
So, the ladies had to be very graceful, very Lashya, and very soft.
Yeah.
The other two gharanas are not like that.
Okay.
Banaras is predominantly strength in spins and in footwork.
Okay.
Having said that, Jaipur is footwork.
Just footwork?
It's a lot of footwork.
Intensive
It's
footwork.
intensive. So, you had to have that strength on your calves down to your feet to be able to carry the piece across. So the styles are different, yet it's the same style under one umbrella of Kathak.
Yeah.
So I won't say I'm, predominantly this or that. I'm South African.
Yeah, of course.
I've mixed it all up because we come from a nation of mixture.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so you don't have a preference, a dance Kathak
I
preference?
obviously the last gharanas that I've learned, so mostly Banaras, I would say,
Okay.
with my style. But it's my style.
Very interesting. So you said you went back to after Mauritius. You went back to India twice.
I went every year back to India.
Every year.
Every year. So for a few years, I learned with different teachers. I kept changing my teachers, and so every year I would go back until the age of 25. Sometimes 3 or 4 times in a year, because I went to do tours in India, dance tours. Did a lot of traveling, not only in India but actually all over the world.
Wow.
Europe, throughout Europe. Yeah, traveled a lot with my dancing. I've been blessed,
Very.
very blessed.
Not many dancers have that privilege, if I can call
Yeah.
it that.
Social media wasn't as what it is today.
Correct.
Otherwise, I would have had a track of it.
Yeah.
But it was exciting, very, very exciting.
And so after school, after you'd matriculated, did you go to a tertiary education, or did you
No,
just continue
dive straight into dancing.
back into dancing?
Totally. It wasn't back. I never really left it. I
Oh, yeah,
still
so
did
you-
my tours. I still did everything. And I just dove straight into it and continued with tours.
And that's
Yeah.
probably what gave rise to Pravika's Kathak Kendra.
Pravika's Kathak Kendra was running throughout that time. During
Yeah.
that time, I had lots of graduates.
Okay.
Yeah, I so I was balancing everything, school, classes, as well as, traveling.
Yeah.
And my mom helped with running my classes. Yeah, so it was tricky.
Yeah. How did that?
It was planning. Everything is planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm type A personality, so it's all according to a diary. Whole life.
That's mind blowing, actually, to think of how one person can just do so much
Yeah.
and still do everything else. I mean, you're still a mom
Still get
and
on
a
with life.
wife and a daughter,
Yeah.
and all of those responsibilities kind of mount up at some point.
Mm.
Tell me about how Kathak forms part of your current life and your family life, and now you're married and you've got a kid.
Baby, yeah.
How does that all work?
So, you have to prioritize. When you have a kid, your life is not yours. Especially at the beginning, I'd say. As the kid grows, then they become more independent.
Yeah.
But right now, they need their mom and their dad. So, it's a lot of balancing. However, keeping my dance classes going is what keeps my Kathak alive.
Yeah.
And I still have, students who are ready for graduation. So I'm still doing graduation training on weekends. I dedicate my weekdays to my son and my
Yeah.
husband. And my weekends are mine. And that's when I try to fit in as much as I can in regards to classes, extra classes, private
Yourself.
lessons.
Hopefully.
Myself, I have to fit in during the week.
Oh, wow.
I steal time. Have to. You have to balance it all. If you
Wow.
don't balance it all, it doesn't work out.
Is there a spiritual element to your dance? Do you feel
Very much so.
how
I was
so?
born and brought up a Hare Krishna devotee,
Okay.
so part of ISKCON.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, and it's not just South African ISKCON. I've traveled with ISKCON all over the world.
Yes.
I've traveled to all the different temples, performed at the temples, because Kathak is a temple dance. The original Kathak comes from a temple dance. It was danced by males as an arti to the deities.
Yeah.
So that is, Kathak was hardly ever danced by females.
Yeah.
Later on, when it became a court dance, then it became, more female.
Yeah.
It was generally a male dance
Yeah.
as an arti. So them days, it used to be male pujaris on the altar who used to do arti for the deities. And they used to dance Kathak.
Wow.
And that's how Kathak started at the very beginning,
As a temple art.
as a temple dance.
Okay.
So, for me to be able to dance in temples around the world is such an honor, such a privilege,
Blessing.
and a major blessing.
Yeah. I
And,
can imagine.
I totally grabbed it and ran with it as much as I could. Right now, I don't dance, but I teach
Yeah.
because life is crazy, but I love my teaching and I love giving the art form, because why have something if you don't want to give it? Give it with your
Shared.
wholehearted.
Yeah.
No, there's so many different dance teachers. I love and respect each and every one for their own form and holding their own. Because why? They are spreading Indian culture in South Africa. And I support them 100%.
Yeah.
Whatever dance form it is.
When you dance Kathak, what does it do to you?
Takes me into a different world completely.
Yeah.
I'm transformed. I'm not the same person that you would, see off stage.
Yeah.
So when I'm on stage, no one's like me. But when I'm off stage, everyone's above me.
Yeah.
It's very important to know when to have the ego and know when to drop the ego. As artists, when you step off the stage, you drop the ego.
Yeah.
That's what all my teachers taught me.
Yeah.
But when you're on stage, there's no one higher than you, because you need that confidence to be able to present what you need to present.
Yeah.
Kathak is a story art, which means the dancer tells the audience a story,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? For you to be able to do that means you have to have the confidence in yourself. It's
Yeah.
not easy to stand up in a crowd of 10,000 people. I've danced at Netaji Stadium for 10,000 people in India. It was an amazing experience, but it's not something that you can just do. So when you step on stage, you touch the floor of the stage and ask Mother Earth and Krishna to help you through your performance.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
When you leave, you do the same and say, thank you for helping me through my performance. And when you step down, you leave your ego right there on the stage.
Yeah.
And you step down and you humble.
Yeah.
Because that's what we have to teach our youth. If another dancer, two dancers from two different schools are dancing at a performance, one school must go to the other and say, wow, you guys, you all were fabulous.
Yeah. You did good.
You have to encourage the youth today.
Yeah,
Why
100%.
not? And let me tell you, for a child to go on stage is not an easy thing.
Not at all.
It's not an easy thing. We have to encourage them.
Yeah.
That's our job as the generation that we are in, to make the youth excited about dancing. And how do you do it?
Yeah. Just supporting each other, I guess.
Exactly.
So you've got all this knowledge of 3 different Kathak gharanas. How have you integrated it into a South African society?
Right.
How have you done that?
So I always say to everybody that I am a South African Indian.
Yes.
I'm born South African. As much I am an African woman.
Of course.
I have traveled, when I traveled, I've been so lucky to travel with beautiful South African artists, dancers, drummers, musicians. I've always traveled with them. And they are all African and South African. So I am not just an Indian dancer. I'm very much an African dancer. What I present as a South African dance piece, or what is presented by the director of the show, because what I do is choreography, but the choreography and whatever I dance is classical Kathak.
Yes.
But what I dance it to is very South African, 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Because I'll be dancing bells to drums, African drums, or bells to pansula,
Amazing.
bells to Spanish, flamenco,
Wow.
or, it'll be gumboot and Bharatanatyam or Kathak. But when I dance, it's Kathak. I don't dance any other dance form. So when we present a piece of a South African piece,
Yeah.
it's all different dances that represent South Africa because we are not just one nation.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's very important to remember that we are South African Indian.
First.
First South African and then Indian. And I'm very proudly South African.
And me.
Very proudly South African. I love my country.
Yeah.
I love it.
How have the audiences received that sort of integrative dance or the fusion of dances? How have they received it?
They love it.
Even from back in the day when you first started?
Yeah, you must know Jay Patha was the first choreographer,
Yes.
director that brought this multicultural pieces and everything to South Africa. When he came through, it was, and I worked with him left, right, and center. Every second I was here in South Africa, I would do pieces with him and do productions with him, because he's the kind of person that helps you grow as a dancer, grows you as a person as well, and keeps you straight on the track of being a South African, proudly South African person.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. So with his pieces and watching him work, I learned how to interact and how to work with different genres and the respect for each other.
Yeah.
And that love for each other, because we're all together on the same platform.
Yeah, and you all share the same passion, and that is
Exactly.
dance.
And it doesn't matter what
it is.
color you are, where you come from in South Africa.
Yeah.
You're South African.
Yeah.
We
You
love and support each other.
Yeah, you share common passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
I agree 100%. What would, or how do you think we could take this idea of integrative dance or idea of fusion forward? What do we do to, so you've already done, Kathak, Spanish, flamenco fusion, or Kathak gumboot. How do we take that to a next level?
I think our future lies in our youth. We have to inspire them to want to be able to work together. You see, it's exciting when kids get together. One is a Kathak or Indian dancer, and the other is a hip hop dancer, and the other is a ballet dancer, and they want to do a piece together. It's important for us to inspire them to do this kind of thing, because we are not just only Indian, only.
We're not in a box. We don't live in a box.
We don't want to. We have to get out of it.
Yeah.
And our future lies in our youth. If we can inspire them to do this, then we have our future set. How do we inspire them? By being honest and teaching them to respect and love each other.
Yeah,
just as
integrity
much.
to the art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about I am better than you and you are better than me.
Yeah.
No.
Let's come together and
No,
create.
let's get together and create and
Yeah.
work in harmony.
Yeah.
And with love in the middle, what can go wrong?
Nothing. Absolutely
Yes.
nothing.
The main thing is you put love in the middle. Even when you talk to each other, when you talk with love, nothing can happen.
Of course.
Negative.
100%.
So important.
Yeah. What advice do you have for dancers out there? What would you
Dance
like
and dance and dance and dance and be happy. Remember, when you're dancing on stage and you are enjoying what you are doing, your audience is going to enjoy watching you.
Yeah, because you give off this.
Because you're giving off that energy and that love that you have in your heart.
Yeah.
They are going to love watching you. And that's when I see a dancer, I don't care what they're doing. If they are enjoying what they are doing,
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy them.
Yeah.
Through and through. They don't have to be experts. Remember, there's no right and wrong with dance. It's
No.
everyone's body is unique.
And dance is a journey. It's not you don't come out a perfect dancer. It's
No.
a journey of becoming a good dancer.
A good dance is also perspective.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's mine versus yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're good or not. The main thing is you are loving what you are doing.
Yeah.
And people are watching you and they're going to love it. Trust me. Dance, dance, dance and be happy. Support each other. Love each other. That's what I would say.
That's a beautiful message. And if anybody wants to learn Kathak or to be a part of Pravika's Kathak Kendra, how do we get hold of you?
They get a hold of you.
Awesome. 100%.
They get a hold of you and you can just pass my details over. I
Yeah.
have a beautiful school, lovely girls. I love them to bits.
Yeah.
They are like my kids,
It's been
So I'm ever expanding with my family. It's very important to treat the kids with love, so they will also pass that over when they teach it. Remember, who's learning today are going to be tomorrow's teachers. So how you teach them is how they are going to teach.
yeah.
I was not taught nicely. I was taught with a stick. And I promised myself, if a child doesn't want to learn dancing, they won't. I don't force it.
Yeah.
You want to do it, you love it, you come, and I will give you with love.
It's a passion.
They mustn't do it because their parents want them to do it.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, Pravika, it was lovely chatting to you.
Oh, honored chatting to you, Nandini.
It was truly insightful. And I really have goosebumps from this chat. I really didn't expect the conversation to go in the direction that it did. And yeah, it was a real honor. Thank you for being here with
My
me.
honor. My honor.
And
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly.
My pleasure.
I'm so privileged to be a part of this. And if there's anything I can do, any way, shape, or form, I'm here to help.
Thank
always.
you. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast with Nanz. The episode today with Pravika has been truly passionate and inspiring. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment box below. Also, you can follow me on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, as well as on Spotify, on Nanz_podcast. I'll see you guys next time.